Yeah, seriously. This game got good again. Sort of, all of a sudden. It's really fast. But, like, how rad would it be if this happened in the middle of the game and we had this giant rift slowly opening up over the course of, the second half of the game?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that would have been so much cooler, and you can see it in the background, and you're, like, frantically trying to, like...
This is, like, the common trope of, like, villains been working a long time to open up some kind of Eldritch portal, and this had the twist of, like, yeah, there have been the sort of... It's Faust, right? The Faustian deal
bargain, yeah.
To get back the woman you love, except this one ended up bringing about the Eldritch Horror, too.
But, like... I don't mind
or
the
summoning
trope.
the Eldritch Horror to bring back
Tropes can be good if done well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just so bothered because we've spent 7 chapters doing all a kind of nothing.
It was to get you to learn about the world and the different kingdoms and the
like,
different
it was
peoples.
fun, but, like, we hit this point and everything, the stuff that actually matters is happening, and the interesting stuff is happening, and I know, whatever.
I would actually have liked it if throughout the game Roland saw snippets of Doloran's past.
Bit of both. I mean,
something, or like
I would,
parts
whatever.
Of Earth.
If you want to stand a chance at beating the Horned One, you'll need to use Monstar. You know, the Sword of Unity. Don't go rushing in like a pranny with some other weapon, whatever you do. But you knew that already, ain't it? Right. You ready to do this?
To arms!
There's eager you are. Let's get this show on the road then. The Horned One won't know what's hit him. So now you can just transform at will?
Yeah.
I guess? Man, that's such a wasted opportunity. Yeah, but it's just like he transforms for one boss fight, and then otherwise he's just glorified taxi man.
I mean,
We have an airship.
Could you imagine having a party member that was a dragon? That'd be a little insane. You see, even Drez has to have his little mini form. Or humanoid form.
And then everyone fell off and died. Oh, hey.
No, it's more like they probably all fell off onto floating bits of the realm.
All right?
I think so. Where are we?
I am the Great Horned One. I am the King Breaker.
Don't use Bodley's voice on him.
It's not the Bodley voice. It's getting closer by the second.
Wait.
Here goes. Come over by you when you get a chance, 7-man.
Oh, hey, Lofty's voice acted for this.
Here goes.
What's the lofty magic?
Now, I understand the motivations for Doloran, but I'd like to know the motivations of this thing. Like, it doesn't have to give a speech or anything. But
Well, it's the King Breaker. So my assumption is this thing
it
exists.
just feeds off of broken bonds.
Broken King's bonds, probably. Bad ending. Oh, here we are.
They're always the creatures of, like, entropy versus order.
Make yourselves useful.
So I think we're supposed to charge up Lofty? Yeah, there we go. Where is he? There he is.
Yep. Did he just get a second health bar?
He did a something. Oh, he's in like super evil mode.
Maybe he's in a mode that can only be broken by Lofty.
Yep.
I've got a bad feeling about this. Brace yourself. I reckon things are about to get hairy.
Oh, fire! That conveniently missed you. Button mashing.
Oh, what's that coming out of his chest? Careful, man.
Okay. So I effectively can charge up Lofty for super shot mode.
But it's also so that you can break through that purple shield.
I mean,
That purple
no,
health bar.
I can do that. I can do that any way I want.
Here goes.
But I think it has to be broken before you can get back to whittling down the orange health bar, which is the primary health bar.
No, like, the lofty thing is totally optional. Though it goes much faster the second time you do it. Come on, Lofty. There it is.
Sending projectiles.
Come on, Lofty. Keep it going. There it is.
This is really nice music too.
Ah! Might not get through a shield this time. We'll see. What I should probably do is actually switch to bracket.
Oh, this is the second symbol. You notice how he's going through the sigils of the different creatures? The kingmakers?
Oh. That doesn't make sense.
So that one was the the Hydropolis one, probably. Yeah, it's down for the count.
Ish. He's got phases.
Mm-hmm. Ooh. A laser?
Oh, no.
Took
Whatever
full
will
brunt
I
to
do?
that.
Yeah.
But he didn't really lose that much health. I thought that
Nope.
would have been an insta-kill.
No.
Do you know what bothers me about some winged bosses? How they just hover as opposed to flap.
Yeah. I don't mind it if they're like these like weird giant cosmic horrors.
Then why have wings? They should just have like glowing,
Final Fantasy always did it
twisting
well, where it's like, yeah, I don't
mechanical
really care if
components.
these things aren't flapping that much. Whereas like this game, no, this guy should be flapping about, flying, all sorts of things.
All those spikes. Sheesh. Higgledies! So that's the healing ones that
Alright, I've got some mana items.
you're just gonna drink up.
I said I'd kill him with my gun.
Though, is this it? Is this really the end?
Uh-oh.
Want to open the game bar?
Oh,
What's
no.
that?
Oh, you stupid.
What is it?
It's if you press the Xbox button, it's just like, you want to know about the game bar? And I'm like, no, I don't.
No.
I don't care about the game bar. All right. Oh, he wants me to king me
Use
up.
his power.
Yeah. Oh. Well.
Dun, dun.
Oh, I'm
He's using
100%
Bastion's
maxed out.
power.
We're on the final section. I truly have unlimited mana. I truly have unlimited ammo now.
Really? Because if you just use
Notice how-
Bastion's sigil, then wouldn't Mousingers be the last one, Oakenheart?
I don't know, but he doesn't have that much health left.
Yeah.
Ow.
Watch you be incapable of defeating. Oh, no, you are. Until you get through the 4th round. I thought you had to go through every single one
The
unless.
president doesn't reload.
It's now or never, forevermore, for the whole world!
Alessandra, is it really you?
It is, my love. But you did not free me from within the Horned One. The Horned One was not born of the wrath of the gods as you had thought. I wanted to be with you. I wanted it so much that I gave up the power of the Kingmaker.
What?
Once freed, that vast, insatiable power gave rise to a monster.
No.
Do you know how Kingmakers are born? They are born when a soul is sacrificed in order that a great power may be tamed. In unbinding my soul, I unleashed that power. By abandoning it, I committed an unforgivable crime. A crime for which I was punished.
So you have not returned to me?
Forgive me, my love. I am that which sealed away the Horned One's power. Only through my sacrifice could the power which poured forth from him be contained.
Then, by unleashing him, I have undone what good you wrought.
No, my love. For a great evil has left the world. The Horned One is defeated. And so, my role in containing him has come to an end. My soul can be at peace, at long, long last. Thank you for never ceasing to love me. We will meet again, dear heart. Not in this world, but somewhere, someday. Goodbye, my love, my Doloran. Goodbye.
Alessandra, no. Not yet. Alessandra!
Doloran.
Alessandra is no more. Allegoria will not rise again. All that I have loved is lost. Roland, tell me, what great wrong did I do to deserve this? Was it in surrendering to love that I erred? Or in accepting a crown of which I was not worthy?
You did no wrong. You just did what you could to keep your love for Alessandra alive and save your kingdom. That's life. People do what they can, try to live as best they can. And then the tide of history comes and sweeps them all away.
Stop.
Too much button mashing?
Well, I mean, today was weight day, so, like, my arms are already pretty sore. So doing Gatling President is not exactly great for my already sore arms. So I can't press the dialogue button without my hand hurting. I also use my other hand.
My country was swept away too. I tried to stop it. Tried to prevent the war that would end it all. But you can't hold back the tide. And so it rolled in.
I have an idea. Why don't we make a new Allegoria?
A what? Huh?
If it can't be brought back, I mean, we can build a new one instead.
It's Evan's solution for everything. Well, my dad's dead. Time to get a surrogate father. Oh, hey, President. Well, my kingdom's gone. Time to build a surrogate kingdom. Oh, hey, Evermore. Well, your kingdom's dead. Let's build a new one.
You can always start anew elsewhere. And find tons of new friends and people too. You're never alone.
Until the game designers run out of ideas, at which point the universe is dead.
A new one.
We did it. We built a new kingdom from nothing. A kingdom where everyone could live happily ever after. It was small at first, but it grew and grew, and thanks to its wonderful people, it eventually became a great nation. You can do the same, Doloran.
You truly think this possible?
Maybe that's why I was brought here. The country Evan and I built together. It changed things for you, Doloran. For this whole world. No one needs to be a slave to the past anymore. Now we can look to the future.
Evan Petty-Whiskered Tildrum. You are yet young, but you are a great king indeed.
You really think so?
I will start afresh. I will build a new kingdom. For the sake of my departed subjects. For the sake of my beloved.
You're giving me the controller?
I can't hold it.
Yay! No one was evil but for the evil that was apparently within the breaking of her bond.
Yep.
Oh yeah, you know,
game...
it was perfectly fine. You could go around breaking everyone's bonds and stealing everyone's souls, and we'll forgive you because it was in the name of love.
This game has no sense of stakes.
It was in the name of love.
Everything was in the name of love.
Hear, hear!
This guy is healing up with an aurora. There's just a magnetic field issue going on up there. Yeah.
You know, I thought we were going to use the Sky Pirates' little, like, winger things at least once. Never did.
We come before you today to make a solemn oath in the presence of all our peoples.
United we stand as one single land.
Well now.
Are you serious? It's not voice acted?
Look, he's gonna glitter out of
Yeah.
existence.
So it's time, huh?
Hey!
There you are, Roland. Are you a vampire now? What are you laughing about?
It's so stupid. It's so
That's the first thing I think of.
You're not wrong.
Is it? Are you? That line works. Okay.
Hey.
And here I was hoping you wouldn't have to see this.
Oh. being the whole, like,
Now we must have vampire babies. Before that fucking werewolf gets to you.
Shush, you. Shush. Don't you swear at a time like this. That's terrible. Don't you hear the solemn music in the background?
You started it.
I started it, but you just took it. You took it too far. You took it too
We're
far.
taking it to the logical conclusion.
Okay.
Looks like this is goodbye. I guess it's about time I was heading back home.
You're not going to stay here with me?
Doesn't look that way. I can feel it. It's pulling me back.
But your world is...
Yeah, before I came here, I watched it be destroyed. I may be returning to nothing but death and despair. I know that. But whatever's waiting for me, I'll be able to face it. I built this kingdom with you. If I can do that, I can do anything. You taught me a lot, Evan Pettywhisker Tildrum. I won't forget. Not ever.
Roland.
Well, Evan, see you around.
Goodbye, Roland.
Evan?
Who are you?
I think you know.
You're King Ferdinand, aren't you? You've been helping me all along.
Yes and no. I am Ferdinand. But it's really you who's been helping me.
Is this some kind of weird loop? Is
I don't know.
Evermore in the past and that's the future?
I don't know.
Oh.
What?
Everything I've told you, you told me first.
I don't understand.
This is going to sound strange, but I can send my mind through time. It's a gift I've had since I was born. And using it to visit you seemed like the obvious thing to do. I mean, who wouldn't want to find out what his famous father was like as a child?
What? But Tawny doesn't have black hair. What are you making a face at me for?
What a twist! Keep going.
Father?
Yes, you are my father, and I am your son.
What?
I'm going to have children someday. Ah! But he'd be like,
I promised that I would live up to your legendary achievements, but before I could do that, I had to see them for myself. The things I said to you, those words of wisdom, they were all yours.
But Ferdinand lived long ago. He...
I'm afraid that was just Bodley's little joke. She's no historian, you see. She's a seer. She didn't tell you what had happened. She told you what was going to happen. About how I would become the first king to unite the whole world.
So you did? I mean, you will?
What more world is there to unite? Oh well.
Yes, you started it all by uniting the 5 great realms. But there were plenty of others. Smaller perhaps, but realms just the same. Each with its own particular problems. Poverty, war, and any number of other things. None of them easy to solve. But solve them you did. One by one by one.
And you?
Yes. I carried on what you started. And in the end, I finished it.
I come before you, a true king at last. I, Ferdinand, have brought together the peoples of every nation under the heavens. The great work my beloved father began is finally complete, and the world stands united under a single banner. I hereby swear, in the name of King Evan, to safeguard this hard-won peace, for as long as I shall live.
And with that, my promise to Nella was fulfilled at long, long last.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, Shell, Tawny does have an endgame costume that you can get after this, called Queen's Gown.
Okay, I'm just wondering.
So I guess the Punnett squares in this world work anime style, where you can get Evan out of a Catman and Ferdinand out of those two.
Well, I mean, it's a little bit bizarre. Like, I would have thought that if a half Grimalkin and a half human bred together, that you would have someone with more human characteristics, but still a little bit of cat in them. Maybe they would
one cat ear.
No, they would either have like the ears or the tail. Maybe, I don't know.
Okay, I know I've said this before, but I'm gonna say it again. I guess I don't know. This game was lovely. It had a lot of cool ideas. And
I really like the characters.
It committed to none of them. Like there, Evan's crying on his pillow and Evan's like looking out after him.
Roland,
and then Roland's like looking out after them. And then not like an hour later of gameplay, they founded a kingdom. And they're all like super happy about it. I'm like, there's no emotional vulnerability. He lost his father, he lost his kingdom, and like nothing was done about it.
What I didn't like is that none of the villains really were
there weren't
bad
villains.
at the core.
There were no villains in this game. They were just temporarily inconvenienced allies, or temporarily maligned
no, they're
allies.
accruing debt.
Like, it would have been so cool to actually see that. You know, the two of them going nuts, and
poring over the old text. Oh, look, there's Bodley.
yeah, like these vignettes at the end are almost more interesting to me than the story itself. They show so many like interesting moments that weren't in the game. Okay, this was in the game. Sort of? Why are the guards so unhappy? Lofty!
What's up with Lofty? He's just like, maybe they're finally getting married. They're finally getting married.
But yeah, this really was like three different
that's him
games
fighting
or so.
Bastion.
Yeah. But like this is 3 different games or so that were kind of crammed into one. Like, uniting the world, that would have been a fine couple chapter plotline, but they left no room for anything else. This reminds me...
Oh, the frogs! But they encounter a real frog!
This would have been cool! But no. Like...
That would have had to have been another minigame where they're going through the sewers,
I would have been
being
fine
chased
for that.
by another frog.
I would have enjoyed that. Oh, there's...
And the ghost of his parent. Well, okay, his mom has black hair. That's where the genes come from.
Yeah, I guess so. And, like, I really like the idea of what they were going for. You know, the idea of all of this was cool. But every time there was, like, a point where you could, like, latch onto some reason,
This
some
is how they were
logic or
forging
anything.
the sword.
Yeah.
From
which,
the
of
chalice.
course, wasn't shown. But, like, how rad would it be if the gods really had doomed Doloran and his wife, and like you beat the horned one, you get through everything.
Nella?
Yep, that's Nella's ghost.
Her
up there.
ghost, I see.
But like, how rad would it be if you discovered that the gods screwed over Doloran, and then you go march straight into Mount not Olympus to get her back for this villain this entire time, and the gods are like, you know, no, you are our slave or whatever, you know. You go back to uniting the world, and you're like, no! Like, you've done something awful here, and like, that would have been cool. There's so much they could have done! Why didn't they?
I never like it when there's the villains behind villains behind villains behind villains.
I don't mind it if the Matryoshka villain is at least convincing. But no, every time you opened up the doll and found the next villain within, the previous villain evaporated, wasn't a villain at all, and became an ally. It was...
Oh, look! It's the ghost Alessandra dragon.
This game was a bad Matryoshka doll, where you realize when you open it up, the previous layer wasn't there. And then the inner layer wasn't there either.
I also think that, I mean, I loved, like, the creatures that they added to the world, the Higgledies and all the other fun things, but it seemed like there were too many crafting. Well, yeah, they got
bogged down with the kingdom management. Oh, so he's back in time a little bit.
Can he avert things?
Probably not.
No.
We'll be arriving at the World Unification Summit shortly, Mr. President. Thanks. You seem happy. Not really. We still have a mountain to climb. I can't imagine convincing all the nations of the world to sign up to this will be easy. It's never been done before, I guess, but if you could pull it off, wow. Oh, it's been done all right. Really? Sure. In a little country a long, long way from here.
Do you think his spirit was sent back into his young self so that he had 20, 30 years to plan how to organize, like, unify the world properly without there being someone that destroyed their city or their country?
I don't know. I've said my piece. I have nothing more to say. I could talk forever about why this was an almost great game, but I think I'm done. I give up.
I still really liked the
Dragon
characters
Quest 11,
and
please be good. I'm hitting a dearth of
a
good
little bit of the world
JRPGs
building
this
they've
year.
done. Wait, what?
I'm hitting a dearth of good JRPGs. Like, I keep picking them up, hoping they're gonna be good, and they're all bad.
I wouldn't call this bad.
Disappointing.
Well,
That first chapter...
I never come into these with much for expectations.
I came into this with a lot, which is my problem. Because, like, I'm really, really stoked to play JRPGs because I grew up with them. You know, big, epic, twisting plot lines. Like, I want to go back and play Tales of Symphonia at some point just to see if I'm, you know, not insane in my, like, reverence for that game. Because it had all of this, all of the twisting pathways, the go to different places, solve the different problems. But it actually had a cohesive plot and of multiple villains that were straight up villains. And some not. I don't know. I just...
Well, if anything, I suppose what we said before is that there wasn't much for consequence.
None.
Because everyone could turn back time.
Nobody was sad.
The...
Nobody was guilty. The only actually evil thing in the game had no development. It was just evil for the sake of being evil. Thanks. Like, that can work in a game where evil for this... Yeah. Like, evil for the sake of evil can work if you develop it to be interesting. But if it's just like, oh no, the villain all along was the concept of evilness, and it's like, what? It was the black cloud that did it all along. Like, it's straight up... No consequence, no tension, no nothing. Anytime anything could have possibly gone wrong, they immediately had a solution. Or just...
Wait. No, Studio Ghibli outright kills a number of its villains.
Yeah! They do!
Like Laputa,
This
Castle
isn't
in the
even
Sky.
Ghibli. This is just level 5 not being willing to commit to anything.
Well, what did they market this as? Is this a PG game?
Yeah, this is very much a JRPG meant for kids to some degree.
No, that's true. I suppose you have to approach it from that kind of context.
But like,
you know, see the
as a kid,
people,
I saw
happy.
shows with heart-wrenching consequences.
Oh yeah.
I saw Princess Mononoke before I ever even touched a JRPG. That was the first anime I ever saw.
Really?
Yeah. And so, like, that was a pretty good example of villains, consequence to actions, crazy plot, animation, interesting characters that weren't overpowered or cans, but just people trying
Flawed
to do
heroes.
things. Yeah, and it was just like this perfect mix. And I play this and I'm just like, I feel like they missed something. And I almost think Ni no Kuni being a game hurt this game. Because I think they were too busy trying to cram in game modes. I mean, half of the eastern continent was never even used. We went to the desert. Why? To get sand. Once.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, the whole eastern continents they didn't have any kingdoms there, right? Except for Broadleaf.
Except for Broadleaf, which apparently was huge, but, I mean, it was just a tower that you didn't get to see much of. And then, like, other than that, it's the ice area, which has, like, maybe a airship from the previous game, which implies bad things happen, but it's not like they tell you. And then, like, I mean, the skirmish mode. I think the skirmish mode and the kingdom building are perfect examples of, like, there's no reason to have the skirmish mode in the game.
Well, also, what about those little dungeony things that you could go
Yeah, the little shrines, the dream doors. Like, they made it seem like it was important, but it had nothing in it.
And then there were the special monsters that had the purple essence. I think it was just a lot of fluff and filler.
It was so much filler that it forgot to have substance. And so when we did sit down and start doing the meat of the game, we're like, oh, Oh, this is nothing. And I go back to this constantly. That first chapter was perfect. Like, everything about that was good, except for maybe, like, the introduction to combat and, like, the stealth section was kind of awkward. Mm-hmm. Especially because you never sneak again in the game. Mm-hmm. But, like, that had such a... not a medieval James Bond to it.
It was cinematic, the beginning.
It felt tense. Mm-hmm. You know, it felt like you were actually trying to escape. And then it did away with any level of, like, that caliber of writing and whatnot. And it's just like... yeah, no meat. Ni no Kuni II. And then Meatless Kingdom. Vegetarian. Oh, well.
Well...
I still enjoyed it.
I very much enjoyed it. I enjoyed the characters, and it was interesting how many twists they pulled at the very, very end. Like,
yeah, I wish they had pulled some of those in the middle of the game. I guess another way to describe what I'm feeling is, playing this game, I enjoyed what was there, mm-hmm. but you had the negative space of what it could have been. And it was like...
Well, there's always that possibility. There's always that potential.
No.
The whole...
I played God of War earlier this month. Mm-hmm. Last month. God of War had no negative space. That was a full, complete product, and it was so intensely satisfying.
Did you have to backtrack anywhere? Maybe it's
constantly.
Okay, so it's not an issue with open world.
No.
Then.
I mean, it had... I would say... really, the backtracking in God of War was you had a lake. That was the main explorable zone. Just one zone. So, like, imagine...
Hyrule Field.
Yeah, Hyrule Field. But every time you completed a dungeon, Hyrule Field got slightly bigger. Mm-hmm. Doubled in size, almost. And some more, like, things to check out, and some of the stuff you saw earlier opens up and stuff like that. And then, eventually, you have the entirety of this massive Hyrule Field to explore with, like, a billion things to do. And you realize you've barely gone anywhere, but it felt like you went on this massive journey. Mm-hmm. And it felt so good. In this, I went on this massive journey and felt like I went nowhere. I don't know. Whatever. I would love to see a Ni no Kuni 3, and I would love to see them cut out all of the fluff. I don't care if it's a hallway simulator. I want a good plot, fun characters, charm.
And maybe a couple of systems, but not as many as they...
Yeah, I mean, I would have loved it if this game had two systems. One, adventuring through the plot. Two, going back to the kingdom to build it up. And, like, actually having choices, you know. It made you feel like you're actually raising a kingdom, as opposed to a mobile game.
I would have rather ditched the kingdom and just raised awesome higgledies.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, at that point, I'd say maybe not even higgledies, bring back the Monster Collection, because...
Monster Collection?
I had... Part of the reason why I never bothered with the higgledies was because they didn't interest me. They were just little power-ups that I could activate every once in a while.
Well, then maybe it would be about upgrading Lofty.
Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah. Or even the characters, I don't know. Oh well. Yeah, truly, as hilarious as it is, my favorite part of this game was Lofty.
Lofty?
I mean, he was stupid as hell, but boy did I get a lot of laughs out of him. I'm going to immortalize him. For a game that I'm probably going to forget about over the next couple months. I'm going to immortalize that weird poop demon as an emote on my channel, just because of how it was. I made a face. Think Ego Raptor face. I don't know. Whatever. Anyway. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you guys next time.